You know that person who smiles at the chaos, laughs at situations that would break most people, and somehow makes it look effortless? Yeah, they've gone through more than you can imagine. And no, I'm not talking about losing Wi-Fi for an hour or missing a bus. I'm talking about storms so fierce they could have sunk anyone else. Yet somehow, here they are, still standing, still moving forward, still cracking jokes that land like tiny explosions of resilience. That's not luck. That's psychology in action. When life piles up trauma, disappointment, heartbreak, or constant uncertainty, the brain doesn't just survive. It rewires itself. People who've endured too much aren't broken. They're upgraded. Their nervous system has learned how to dance in storms that would have flattened most others. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every moment of chaos becomes a teacher. And somewhere between the late-night tears and the quiet moments of despair, they pick up skills nobody else ever teaches. How to feel deeply, how to notice the invisible pain in others, and how to laugh at their own misfortune before it laughs at them. Ever wonder why they can stay calm when someone cuts them off in traffic, or why a bad day at work barely registers? That's not indifference. That's post-traumatic insight. They've walked through fire so often that small sparks barely singe. And here's the twist. Surviving that much doesn't make them bitter. It often makes them extraordinarily empathetic. They can sense moods before words are spoken, understand pain without explanation, and offer support without judgment. They don't just notice a forced smile. They feel it. They don't just hear silence. They read it. And because they've learned the language of suffering, they respond in ways most people never could. And yes, there's humor here. Dark, clever, sometimes painfully funny humor. The kind that turns suffering into power. The kind of humor that whispers, "I see your chaos, and I choose to smile anyway." Because laughing at pain isn't cruelty, it's control. It's reclaiming power from circumstances that once had them pinned. Every joke becomes a tiny rebellion, a little flag saying, "You don't own me anymore." Now, you might think someone who's been through too much would crave control over every tiny detail of life. And yes, and no. They've learned that some things can't be controlled, so they let the massive stuff go, while meticulously managing the small things they can influence. The coffee mug is sorted, the bills are organized, the calendar is color-coded, but life's big chaos? They shrug and keep moving forward. It's paradoxical. It's strategic. It's human evolution under fire. There's also grief here, a deep, quiet kind that nobody talks about. The grief of lost versions of themselves, the child who trusted too easily, the person who moved through life without anticipating danger, the self who laughed freely without checking the room first. They mourned that version of themselves while building a newer, stronger one. And that grief doesn't break them, it refines them, sharpens their perception, deepens their compassion, and heightens their emotional intelligence. And yet, with all this strength, they are paradoxically delicate. They crave safety, value peace, and seek meaningful connections, but they also guard themselves fiercely. They've learned the hard way that dependence comes with costs, and trust is a currency earned over time. This makes them both incredibly loyal and fiercely independent, capable of showing up in ways others can't, while quietly protecting themselves from harm. Think about it. Someone who's been through too much doesn't just survive, they adapt, they innovate, they find joy in ordinary moments. Sunsets, small victories, quiet mornings, laughter with friends, these things hit differently because they've lived through chaos and can appreciate calm in ways most people can't. Their resilience is subtle, invisible, and yet profound. Every choice they make is a tribute to their survival. Every moment of calm is a victory. Here's the most fascinating part. People like this often become lighthouses for others. Not because their lives are perfect, not because they have it all figured out, but because they've learned to navigate darkness and storms that would have broken anyone else. They shine not despite their pain, but because of it. Their laughter, their empathy, their insight, it's all forged in fire. So, the next time you meet someone who seems unshakable, who finds humor where others despair, who handles life's unpredictability with grace, remember, they've gone through more than most of us could survive. They've cried, they've healed, they've rebuilt themselves again and again. Their wisdom isn't taught in books, it's lived, earned, and deeply felt. And maybe that's the real psychology here. People who've gone through too much don't just exist, they understand life differently. They know that beauty and brutality often coexist. They know that strength isn't about never breaking, it's about how many times you can piece yourself back together and still choose hope, kindness, and laughter along the way. Their pain became insight, their survival became compassion, and every time they smile in the face of chaos, they remind us all that resilience isn't optional, it's a practice, a choice, and yes, sometimes a quiet, defiant joy. If this spoke to you, resonated with your experiences, or reminded you of someone you know, hit subscribe and stay connected to these deep dives into human psychology. Share this video with anyone who's ever laughed through pain, survived storms, or reminded you of the quiet strength of the human spirit. Because this isn't just a story about survival, it's a celebration of humanity's ability to bend, endure, and shine.